Let me show you how we're making our business simulations fully accessible for people with disabilities. So, what we're looking at here is one of our business simulations, and all of our simulations are very visually rich. There is a lot of interface and graphics, a lot of context everywhere on the screen. And when you consider the idea of using a screen reader, for example, it would be very, very difficult to provide proper context with this type of rich interface. A lot of other simulations tend to be more kind of spreadsheet based, and those are a little bit easier just to make them accessible because they're using kind of a very basic visual format. But when you have something with a very rich interface, like you see here, it's much more challenging. In fact, you can't really do it. I mean, we could do it technically, but it would lack context and it would be just way too confusing for someone who is using a screen reader to understand the context and the layout and everything. Trying to explain that in text just would not make sense. So, our solution is we're designing and building, and I've already done this for many of our simulations, a completely separate accessible, or we call it assistive interface. So we call this the standard interface, and then we have an assistant interface that is totally aligned to working with screen readers and keyboard input. Let me show you what that looks like in comparison to what you're seeing here. And here it is. Here's that exact same simulation with all the identical features and functionality, but presented in a text-based format using a linear layout that is much easier to understand, provides much better context. So, if using a screen reader, it's much easier to flow through a very comprehensive simulation like this when you have an interface designed specifically for assistive devices. And this is an approach we're taking with all of our products that have very comprehensive, very visually rich interfaces. If a simulation is less visually rich, we will build the assistive device compatibility directly into that interface. That's a better solution, but when you have something so visually rich as this, we cannot do that. It doesn't make sense. And so this is what we're doing to make sure we align with all the requirements and make it accessible for all students. Check it out at goventure.net. That's goventure.net. I'm Mathew Georghiou.